What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about current news in Norway. Because as an American, I never get to hear about Norwegian news here in the United States from any of our news or media. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Norway right now that I otherwise would never get to hear about. So let's take a look at some of these top news stories, starting with more school closures loom. School closures in Norway, why? Why are schools closing? Teenagers tears, and strong local protests didn't stop a majority of Innlandet County politicians from deciding on Wednesday to shut down 6 schools and transfer their students to bigger schools in other towns. What is this all about? What is this? It's a place in Norway called Innlandet County? Where is that? I think I have to Google that. Oh, look at this. It's a democratically elected regional governing administration called the Innlandet County in Norway. This is a pretty big part of Norway, actually. Let me look at this. Oh, wow. I've never heard of this before. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a very big part of Norway, sort of in the southeast, you could say, part of Norway? What? Huh. Is this an important region in Norway, or why is this area in particular closing its schools? So the politicians there have shut down 6 schools. They're transferring their students to bigger schools in other towns. That's a pretty big deal. More such consolidations are expected in many other areas around Norway. Really, Norway is consolidating. Like, I know Norway is pretty spread out. I think some Norwegians, depending on where you live, maybe it's not the most populated area. Maybe there's not so many, like, people or kids that can fill up the schools, but I don't know, there's something nice about going to a smaller school in your hometown. That can be kind of nice. But now those are all closing, and you just have to, I mean, that's a big deal for children, to have to go to another school. This is consolidations that are expected around Norway, given predictions that there will be more elderly to care for than youngsters in the years ahead, especially in these rural areas. What? So this is just a new policy Norway is implementing? Yeah, I have not heard anything about this. This is a pretty big deal. This is all because of the way Norway's population is trending. There's going to be a lot of older people than younger people. So you need caretakers for the elderly rather than the children in the years ahead. And this may be because, like the rest of the world, Norway, our populations are really shifting to where there's not as many people being born. Birth rates are really declining. I guess in Norway as well. They are here in America, that's for sure. So we're going to have a lot more elderly people than, you know, babies, children in the future. So that's where the care needs to go. I guess that makes sense. Man, how big of a deal is this in Norway? High school students in a mountain town of Lom will need to commute to another high school. Wow, so this is like a small, like, Norwegian mountain town with this small kind of high school where you probably grew up and your parents probably went there, and it's just being shut down and you're being told you have to travel somewhere else, which is annoying. Wow, this is a debate over school closures is already raging elsewhere in Norway. Drammen outside Oslo to Gudbrandsdalen further north. This county of Inlandet became what some commentators are calling the epicenter of this debate. It's bound to spread and cause as much anguish. Wow. So those in favor of this restructuring, and there's those not in favor. We have to take steps to build our communities in a new way. Huh. Wow, this has been a target of criticism. Some in the Labour Party have wanted to maintain local schools as they are. This is a pretty big deal. Like, it is very forward thinking. Like, I just don't know. I just don't know how necessary this is. Really interesting. Really substantial. Local mayor declares a war on his county's proposed school closure. This is another article about this. Norway's generally polite political system has been up in arms after the mayor of a small historic mountain town of Lom declared war on officials at the higher county level. So he is a mayor fighting against the closure of his town's school. This is full war, he says. Wow. Some Norwegians are totally against this. I understand both sides, honestly. Like, if I grew up in a small town with a small school, everyone knows each other, everyone's happy, it's a tight-knit community, you probably want to continue that tradition and go to your small high school, and that's what you're used to. And it's just the government comes in and shuts it down and says you have to go somewhere else. That's a lot to take in. But I don't know, maybe it's a good policy for the future. They're closing the schools. Do they think that so are all the teachers losing their jobs? They're losing their jobs at the high schools? Do they think those people are going to become caretakers for the elderly? Like, somehow this is supposed to translate where the resources for the high schools are going to be diverted to helping the elderly. I'm not sure how that exactly translates. Like, if teachers are going to become nurses, and I'm not sure how that makes complete sense. I don't know. Norway extends border control. Oh, I assume we're talking about Russia? Norwegian government claimed it was boosting border control earlier this month and has stricter control extended to November 11th. The reason is an ongoing assessment that the threat of a terrorist attack has risen. The threat of a terrorist attack in Norway has risen. Scary, scary, scary times. The government has announced a higher threat and security levels on October 8th, mostly because of the worsening situation in the Middle East. Oh, not because of Russia, because of Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Norway's Justice Ministry has warned that Israel's attacks on Gaza and Lebanon have raised threat levels against Jewish and Israeli targets. Oh, it's led to an expansion of police protection around synagogues, such as the Israeli embassy in Oslo. Oh, Norway is worried about terrorist attacks against the Jewish populations living in Norway. Got it. I see. Sure. This is definitely something that's happening in the United States as well. Americans are extremely, extremely divided on this conflict. And yeah, people are being targeted and harassed, and yeah. In the United States, here as well, for similar reasons, for sure. I get it now. Husband has been cleared after his wife disappeared? That rhymes. It's like a poem. Husband cleared after wife disappeared. I shouldn't be laughing because this sounds really dark. It's been 6 years since Anne Elizabeth Hagen, the wife of a wealthy Norwegian businessman, disappeared from their home. Now state prosecutors have finally dropped the case against her husband. They still think it was a kidnapping and murder. Yeah, this is you don't hear about a lot of crime, murder, that sort of thing in Norway at all. I think Norway is one of the safest countries to live in the world. So this is substantial. This is unusual. Someone disappeared out of their house. They suspected the husband. Gosh, this is like a TV show. Tom Hagen has spent the last 4 years facing charges of murder or being an accessory to murder. His attorney was relieved. The police have dropped the case against him. Okay, there isn't a shred of evidence that he was involved in the kidnapping. Well then, justice has been served, I suppose. Like, it's very sad, but if there's no evidence, there's no evidence. He has claimed all along that he's innocent. Okay, I actually thought this was going to be an article about how suspicious and horrible this man is, but it sounds like he lost his wife and then was accused of doing the crime himself, which is horrible. Horrible. I feel bad for this woman. Wow, that was 6 years ago, though. Autumn has arrived in all its glory. Oh, and I'm sure Norwegians are bemoaning that winter, it means winter is coming, right? Temperatures have fallen. Autumn is bursting all over Norway. Well, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful time of year in Norway by the look of it. There's some snow in the mountains already. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's been overdue. Overdue. The winter is coming. Oh, boy. Weather is getting chillier. Boat season is winding down. Oh, man. Is this like the time of year where, like, Norwegians are just kind of, like, groaning, like, oh, here it comes. I mean, a lot of Americans are starting to do that as well. To be honest, here in the United States, it's still, you're still basically wearing a t-shirt and shorts most days. It's still pretty comfortable. It's actually like the perfect weather here, not to brag or anything. I don't know, like, what's the weather like in Norway right now? Like, are you having to wear a coat, long sleeve shirt? Because that hasn't quite hit America yet. But these are beautiful pictures. Autumn is a beautiful time of year in Norway. Wow. Anything? Oh, a Nobel Peace Prize hails organization striving to maintain the nuclear taboo. I have no idea what this means. So, Nobel Peace Prize, which is, it's presented and awarded in Norway, right? At a time of war in Europe and Middle East, questions have been raised over whether the Norwegian Nobel Committee will actually award the Nobel Peace Prize this year. Oh, really? The 5 members in Oslo don't have to. Yeah, who's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize this year? Huh. They were determined to stress the frightening and alarming prospect of nuclear war and honor a Japanese organization with the credibility to help fend it off? What? The committee's prize to Nihon Hindankyo, grassroots movement of atomic bomb survivors in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Wow. So are they awarding the Nobel Peace Prize to Nihon Hindankyo? Yeah, it sounds like they are getting the Nobel Peace Prize. Japanese people who created a little group supporting survivors of nuclear blasts, literally. Wow. Pretty heavy stuff. It does sound like they deserve that award. I'm glad Norway is handing out the Peace Prize this year. Government accused of budget bluff? Budget bluff. What does this mean? Fallout continues after Norway's finance minister, Tigriv Slagsvold presented the government's state budget proposal. Oh boy, the new Norwegian budget proposal. He and the Prime Minister have been under fire ever since for overselling their proposals and deceiving voters. So people don't like the budget. People don't like the 2025 Norwegian budget. The budget is dishonest, read a headline in Norway's largest newspaper, Aftenposten. Aftenposten? This is Norway's biggest newspaper. Hold on. Let me look at, oh, look at this. Huh. Oh, can I translate? Whoa. Okay. Oh. Can I... Oh, yeah, it's translated. Oh, look at this. This is more Norwegian news. What is it? Norway, 4 been killed. Oh, news about the schools closing. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Huh. I might have to look at this sometime for more Norwegian news. But let's get back to the news we were looking at. The budget has been branded a tax bluff. Both political parties have used the word bluff and believe Norwegian voters have been misled. Norwegian voters have been getting the impression they would get some meaningful tax relief next year, only to discover that it amounts to the equivalent of 200 NOK, or 20 US dollars. Wow, that's insane. So people in Norway are very upset about this new budget proposal. Wow, they're promising Norwegian people lower taxes, tax relief, and now they actually had to present the budget, and the truth has been revealed. That it's like 200 krone, NOK, $20. Reminds me of the American government, to be honest. Security heightened nationwide. Oh yeah, they've raised the country's threat level because of an uncertain situation involving Israeli Jewish targets. Threat level boosted from moderate to high. Oh wow, yeah, you hate to hear about this. I didn't know that there was a Jewish population in Norway. Yeah, that's sad to hear about, but let's take a quick look at this Aftenposten. This is a Norwegian newspaper? What is it? What is this for? Oh, can we translate this to English? Oh, no. Log in to... Oh, no. Oh, it wants me to log in to read more. Anything else here? How to make your children love you. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll look at this some other time, but it does seem like a good resource if I could figure out how to log in to that newspaper. But anyway, that's the most popular Norwegian newspaper. I didn't know that. That's cool. Anyway, that's a lot of Norwegian news. I'm glad to be caught up. It's all stuff that I have not heard any of this here in the United States. So it's always a pleasure to get up to date on what's actually happening in Norway right now. You know, us Americans, we have absolutely no idea. We got to go out of our way to read about it. So I enjoy doing that. I feel like I learned a lot today. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this Norwegian news or any other Norwegian news I may have missed. That'd be excellent. That'd be awesome to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. Until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.